Hello again, and it's time for another project. Today we're going to do some router work on this Hawaiian Tiki tribal mast, call it what you want, on this piece of rough fencing wood we had left over from a previous project. Now I've took 2 minutes of my time just to sand it down, make it smooth, literally so it's easier to draw the template on. Now that, for me always, I like to print it off, stick it down with a little bit of tape like so. Pop your carbon paper, graphite paper underneath and literally just draw around it. The idea today is to remove all the black area, leaving the body, the face and the mask itself obviously slightly raised up, and then we'll just paint it, throw a lot of colours on there and we'll see what we've ended up with. So we've drawn around that with a pencil or a pen. That way you can use that template over and over again if you want to. There's our little design left on there. We're just about to see that. The lighting's not the best today, so you just have to bear with me on this one. It's going a little bit too dark, but you can see the general idea. So what we're going to do first is to go around all the lines with our little CNC bits. I use these on most of my projects. They have a 3.175mm shaft on them, same size as a Dremel, so they will fit a Dremel if you wanted to use a Dremel router attachment. However, for a quarter of an inch router, you will need an adapter collet like so, 6.35mm. So your little CNC bit literally slots in there. That will now fit your router, no problem. We'll pop it in. We'll set it to a nice depth that we want and literally go around all these lines, around all the teeth, around the mouth, basically around it all. The only difference I've made with the mask is I've extended those little lines there just so I can separate them, because I want to go multicoloured. Let's say yellow, red, blue, red, green, you know, mix it up a bit. So I just want a little bit of a separation in between, where originally this was all one piece, if that makes sense. Once we've gone round with our little CNC bit, these are really nice, eBay or Amazon for me. We'll remove that and pop in one of these end milling bits. They're the same size shaft as your CNC bits, and we can pick a nice one that's going to fit in, and we'll literally just slot that in like so. We'll set it to the same depth as our CNC bit, and we'll use that to go in and remove all the shaded areas. Just take your time to shade in the bits you are going to remove, because you'll go away, come back, and you'll start removing this bit, or you might start removing the teeth. Well, we want them to be left behind. Obviously, we're going to paint them. Okay, let's set it all up, and we'll start routing this one out. Once it is routed out, just mention now, we will cut it out on a scroll saw, just to give it the actual shape of our template. We'll see how we go on with that towards the end. Okay, let's set it up and we'll start routing this one out. Okay, we've made it round with our CNC bit, as you can see from that. Remember, it's only rough fencing wood, so you're never going to get anything overly fantastic, but I'm quite liking the effect on this one. At the end of the day, it's a tribal mask, and it's been made thousands of years ago, so they didn't have all your fancy CNC machines and all your precise tools. So what we see is basically what we get. Okay, we've gone around with our CNC bits. Time to take them out now. So we're just going to remove that. Simple as that. I'm going to try one of these end milling bits. I use these on all my projects. I've certainly got no problem. It's just a case of finding a size that's going to fit inside these little gaps here and these smaller areas like there. So I think we'll go with that one. First time we've got it. Happy days. So that just slots straight into there, up to that little barrier. That's quite a new thing now, that barrier. That wasn't on the earlier ones I purchased. And just push that up, pop that in your router, and we'll find one that you see I've removed some up here already. We're literally just going to set it to the same depth as that, and then remove out all the shaded area. If you're not too sure, you can always go over a pencil and just colour those areas in, because obviously they've rubbed away a bit with you using the router. And I'm not too happy about this section here. I don't know what's going on with this, so I'm just going to remove that completely, and then we'll cut it out with a scroll saw, and then we'll get onto the painting side. Okay, let's pop that in our router and start removing the shaded areas. Right, you can see from that we've made it round in one piece. It's still rough and ready. Remember, we've got a little bit of sanding down to do on this, just to sort it out. What I like to use for my general tidy up on a Dremel flexi cable, which is basically just something like that. It's nice engraving bits. They come in eBay specials, a nice packet of plenty like that. And I like to find one that's got a little flat base on, like so, and we'll just pop that on there, and then just go all the way around and give it a general tidy up. Just get rid of these little bits and into these areas that we couldn't get into with the end milling bit. Okay, we'll tidy all this up first, and then we'll get on to cutting it out with a scroll saw. Right, that's it. That's enough sanding down for me. We've basically got what we're looking for so far. Now, you could leave that on that piece of wood as it is. And if you just paint it, that would work out fine. I'm actually going to try and cut it out. Might regret doing this, but we don't know till we try these things. Now, normally you would leave yourself a nice pencil line to cut on the scroll saw. Unfortunately, I've routed out the inner section already, so I'm basically have to go try and follow inside that line there all the way round the whole thing, round these, and round these, and we'll see what it's like at the end. Like I say, I'm quite happy just to leave it on the wood there, but we'll cut it out. That's part of the plan of attack. Okay, for the scroll saw, I like to use these little spiral blades. They are good because they cut in any direction. Any standard pin blade or pinless blade will cut this out just as easy. I just prefer to use the spiral blades. I have to use these little adapters on my scroll saw. On your new, more expensive and fancy ones, they're just little clamps that clamp at top and bottom. Okay, we'll set this Pegasus number 5 spiral blade on the scroll saw, and we'll see if we can cut inside these lines here and see how we get on. Right, we've cut all the way around with our spiral blade, no problem whatsoever. Now it's just a general tidy up, give it more shape, take these little edges off. So out with the sandings again. We're going to do a couple of little sanding drums on this one, just to skim over and get inside there. Okay, general tidy up, and then we're down to the painting side hopefully. Right, originally I was going to paint all this background black and just put our multicolours on everywhere, but I want to try and leave a bit of wood showing, so we're literally going to put boiled linseed on all the back and all the sides. You could basically just go over the whole lot if you wanted to. Then once it's nicely dry, we'll paint the top with our paints. So as always for me, just old boiled linseed oil, nothing special. It's just a case of putting it on. We'll get those sides darkened up like so. And in between all these here, it doesn't matter, we can basically just coat the whole thing like so. And we'll see how dark it goes and if it's enough to leave as it is while we paint on the remainder. Okay, I'll cover this with my boiled linseed oil and we'll see what it's like once it's dried. Right, that's it. This little project is finished. As always for me, just 3 or 4 coats of the crystal clear, just to give it a nice shine and to give it a little bit more protection with it going outside. Painted such paints to paint it with, and then we sprayed it. In time this wood will go darker, which I would have preferred. One time I was going to put a bit of a stain on there, but I'm just going to leave it like that and let Mother Nature do the rest for me. So there we have it. One Tiki mask image. It measures in at 12 inches by 6 inches. Little router project. Anybody can do these. It looks a lot of work at the time, but they're so simple. Give it a go. Have a play. Remember, it's only on cheap fencing wood. If you want something a bit more superior, go out and get superior wood. But this does for me. They're just basically just going to end up on the side of my shed. Nice little fun projects. Just to enjoy yourself and do what you can. That's the main thing. Just enjoy what you're doing. Okay, there we have it then. This little project is finished. Thank you very much for watching.